Always be open and honest.
Joining me on the line today, I've got Jon Sutton. Jon Sutton runs an IT company by the name of, you'll have to tell me, John, because I haven't got it in front of me.
Sutton IT Management.
Of course. What else? First of all, thanks for joining us on the call today, John.
No problem. Thanks, Dave.
Maybe just give the viewers a bit of background on who you are and what you do.
So we look after IT support for small and medium businesses.
Yep.
Really, the big difference, the way I see it, is most business owners don't care about IT things. They only care about it when it doesn't work. That gets their attention, and that's fair enough. I have no issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
What most business owners don't get to, and what's not explained to them, is the big question, which is why. Why should they do this? Why should they do that?
Yeah.
And really, the question is, especially for businesses doing professional services, they're holding client information.
Yep.
They get spammed, they get malware. Can't help it these days. It's getting worse.
Uh-huh.
And if a client of yours thinks their information is hitting the web, then you're not going to have that client for much longer. And that's not a good thing. And recently, unfortunately, you may have seen the My Budget issue in Adelaide, a business with 13,000 clients, and they can't access any of their data.
Right.
You simply don't want that happening to people.
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny thing because with this whole lockdown that's occurred, everyone sort of started working from home. And I think when they all take their technology home, they just open up a big gaping hole in their security. And, in the short term, no one cares about that. It's just being functional. But there's definitely going to be an impact, right?
Well, there is. And there's, depending on what the business does and how it does it and what's in place, it just opens a number of questions that need to be answered. And that's what we do, is give people some logic as to why certain things should take place. Because the difference between one professional services firm or one electrical contracting firm and another, people sitting at the PCs.
Uh-huh.
Some people are technically quite capable and very good, others aren't as good, and that varies from business to business.
Yeah.
That's got to be taken into account.
Yeah. And I suppose, really, there's a sort of window of opportunity for a lot of people in business right now, going through this transition, this change. What opportunities do you see for business owners right now?
It's all about productivity.
Yeah. So
people, while COVID's been happening, have been sitting back, the phone's been ringing, and they're just asking questions.
Right.
Question, which is good. Happy to answer them. And basically, they're wanting to get more productive. Microsoft released a product a while ago called Teams that's been installed on everyone's machine.
Yep.
And what that really means is that if you're sitting in an office with, say, 5 people or more, no longer do you have to send an email to one of them and CC everybody else, and they all get the one attachment. It's all basically an ability to collaborate with data a lot quicker.
Right.
And a lot easier. And so Teams is free, so there's no cost involved, so that's always a good thing. But that's a way that a lot of businesses are looking to add productivity, especially if they're remote at the moment and they want to have a team meeting. They can do a call via Teams. They can all discuss, share, do what they need to do pretty easily. I think productivity is going to be is a main thing, because people want value for money. And prior to COVID, post-COVID, value for money is a huge driver. And so
I would agree. It's interesting how until this sort of pressure has been applied, a lot of this technology has been around for a long time. And people have resisted it, and they've stuck with their guns, and they've said, I like my email, I like my phone, I like face-to-face. But now that we've sort of been forced to work from home for a lot of people, these collaboration tools have become really quite useful. So it's almost the pressure of the change that's caused people to adapt this technology. Yeah.
Yes, and the other issue is that there's Trello, there's Slack, there's Teams. So clients go, well, what's the difference?
No.
So that's another discussion.
Yeah.
They're great enablers for people, really for people to use. So that's where a lot of clients are going.
Yeah.
And so security is the next question there. How do we make sure that all that data remains secure?
Mm-hmm.
For an Office 365 user, Teams is a really good solution because you've basically got it already set for you.
Okay. So really, like that sort of snuck in, didn't it, Teams? It didn't exist that long ago. It's sort of all of a sudden everyone's got it. And I know that even Facebook have put something in there which is equivalent, and Google have sort of upgraded their Hangouts as well. And I suppose this is all to combat Zoom, who sort of came into the market as almost a dark horse and just sort of was in the right place at the right time, right?
Well, if I was going to be cynical, not that I'd ever be cynical,
No.
products like Slack and Trello have been about for a little while, and Microsoft just wanted their share of the real estate. And they said, we're not letting this piece go to the market without getting competition from us, and this is what it is. And it's good.
Yeah, interesting. So let me ask you, what are your priorities in your business right now?
My business is a customer service business.
Yep.
It happens to do IT. So my priority is always my customers.
Okay.
So what I do, the guys are on the tool. So we've got guys checking back end things and doing all the things that your normal IT person does.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I go around and just see the clients and have a chat to them, ask them what's working for them, what's not working for them.
Yeah.
Are they considering, and just having a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, those machines over there are 5 years old. You might need to replace them. Do you need to replace them?
Mm.
Those type of conversations where they might go, no, they're fine. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how I operate.
Yeah, it's interesting because during these sort of tough times, people are sort of looking at saying, hey, you know, relationships are really important. And if anything sort of survives all of this, right, it's going to be the relationships that are strengthened by it. So let me ask you a different question, John. The best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Always be open and honest. So I spent about 10 years working in at General Electric,
right,
and GE as it was in the day, and worked with a really, really smart guy who ran the business, and we worked in the security space, and so we did access control systems, on doors and do CCTV, all that type of stuff. So we dealt with large clients. So he would be talking to the large CEOs. I'd be in there dealing with clients. So we'd be at cross purposes all the time, or potentially at cross purposes. So we just were open and honest, and so we never had any issue of cross communication because we just told the truth. Yeah,
that's a great philosophy. I know I'm a big follower of Jack Welch from GE, and you know, his philosophy of candor, and we've adopted it into our culture as well, and just said, you know, just say it as you see it. And sometimes it's pretty brutal, but it also saves a lot of time when you're straight shooter. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look, I think that, you know, people work the way they work, but I found through that, I really found that it reduces stress, to be quite honest. It really reduces stress because you've said your position, and you move forward and you deal with what you need to deal with. And Jack Walsh was the driver of all that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell me, favourite book?
Probably still the Stephen Covey stuff.
Yeah.
Seven Effective Habits.
Yeah.
Still always comes back to the top, I think.
It's a timeless book. Which is your favourite habit?
Look, I mean, I get most people will tell you that I'm very consistent. I'm always doing the same thing. So I'll do what I'm good at, but what I'm not good at, I'll get someone else to do.
Right.
So I think I'm pretty good at working out where the spaces are in the team and which person's good to do what job, which ones to keep me well and truly away from.
Fantastic. Awesome. Last question, John. What's the number one piece of advice you give to someone in business right now?
Cash is king.
Does that mean don't spend money, or does that mean go to the bank with a gun?
Look, well, I mean, to me, if my invoices are overdue, I start to own a piece of the invoice.
Right.
And normally the only reason the invoice is overdue is because the client's not happy.
Yep.
client's not happy, go and see the client.
Okay.
Go and work it out. Sit down, have a coffee, work it out. And that way, your cash flow keeps going.
Yeah, because it's absolutely true what you said. Cash is king in business. But I suppose the reason I asked the question is because different people deal with it in different ways. But what you just described is quite interesting, right? Once an invoice is overdue, I own a piece of it, which is a problem. Because there's only one reason that an invoice is overdue, and well, there's probably a couple, but main reason is dissatisfaction.
Well, if a customer rings me and goes, hey, look, you know, we need to talk about this because cash flow is not great, say, okay, what can we do?
Yeah.
Let's have a chat.
Okay.
But if a client rings and says, oh, you know, I'm not happy about something, then as I said, we're a customer service business. Why aren't you happy? Let's work out why you're not happy. And as I said before, it's about value for money. The customer needs to believe they get value for money. So if I need to send a guy back because I thought he did the job, client thought he did the job, and my guy might have been, you know, not on his best day, I need to send him back. I'm just sending him back. It's simple. Not arguing with him about it. I'm just saying, let's just go and do it and get it done properly. Talk about how we deal with that moving forward, but the cheapest way is just to go and fix it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, sage advice. So, John, look, I just wanted to wrap up. I'm conscious of time. Thanks so much for your input. It's been great chatting. And, you know, hoping that you sort of come through the other end of this quite strong. I know we mentioned before the call you're getting quite busy and you're in the market. So if any IT people looking for work are interested, John's pretty much in recruitment mode right now. And with unemployment going up, probably not a bad time to be sort of being in that situation. So thanks again, John.
Yep, thanks, David.
Cheers.